Yes. Anyone remembers what was shared last week? What was discussed?
I have a few points to say. I had made a note.
Yes.
Can I read it because I have not gone through and by hearted. So,
Sure,
but I
sure.
have done it very well. All the points I had captured of the last.
Please, please go ahead.
Yeah. So, first point I had written that Krishna doesn't leave anyone who troubles their devotees.
Okay.
Should I explain or because I think it's self-explanatory? So, should I continue reading the points?
Yeah, that was last to last class.
Last class. This was last class
Okay, okay.
because that was my first class. So,
Okay.
okay.
Yes, please go ahead.
Second is we get compassion because Krishna's devotee.
Okay, so the point actually is that when one becomes a devotee,
Yeah.
he actually develops all the godly qualities like compassion
Yeah.
and many others. Yes.
Yeah. The third point is devotee automatically develop quality. So
Okay.
that was my third point. Fourth was BMW, blame, moan, and weep. We should not do that. Rather, we should think what I can do in any situation.
Okay.
Then Arjun thought he will be committing sin if he
Hmm.
kills his family members.
Right.
So the tradition and all will vanish.
Hmm.
All that. Then lust, anger, and greed are three things. It is a door to hell, doorway to hell.
Right.
Then our decision should keep us towards Krishna. Whatever decision we make, it should be towards Krishna.
Hmm.
Then we learned nine character, confidence, and culture is important. Value-based education.
Hmm.
Every devotee is thoughtful of his actions.
Hmm.
Krishna has come to establish religion.
Hmm.
Then we learned about Shraddh, why the sun is important and why we do puja, all
Hmm.
that traditions.
Hmm.
Then woman has to be faithful towards her husband, else she will pollute and lead to unwanted progeny.
Progeny. Yeah.
Yeah, progeny. Then we learned about an example about Damayanti. She was faithful to her husband even though he was poor and had no clothes to wear.
Hmm.
Then family traditions, if not followed, then the society becomes toxic.
Hmm.
Then in Vedic society, women are given importance, were given importance. They were protected and told as Mataji, and they were given respect.
Hmm.
So girl child was taken care by father, wife by husband, and old mother taken care by the son.
Right. Wow.
Then irresponsible men also will provoke adultery and thus unwanted child flood the human race at risk of war and uh, I don't know what I've written that one word. Maybe the society will get hampered. I mean, population will
Sure.
increase.
Sure.
If you become pure devotee, all your forefathers become free of obligation towards and sage, family, humankind, demigods, general living entities. One has to be completely surrendered to God
Hmm.
and practice devotional service for a better life.
Excellent.
I think 19 points I was able to capture.
I think you summarized the entire class very well.
Yeah, yeah. So I can also read it whenever I have time. That's why I'm keeping a note.
Yes, that's excellent, and that's what Kali Yuga memory means. You have to write,
Yes, yes.
otherwise you cannot remember so easily.
Yeah, yeah.
Make
Thank you.
a lot of effort. So thank you so much for making that effort of writing and sharing
Yeah.
that with us. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think we will be continuing the same topic, wherein Arjuna is giving his arguments. He's already given certain arguments that there'll be compassion was the first one, no enjoyment was the second, sinful reaction was the third. Then he's now saying Varna Shankara, which means destruction of family tradition and pollution of the woman and unwanted progeny. So that is the point he's trying to make. And he continues here saying that those who destroy the family tradition, what happens to them? Right. So, anyone else has any other points to add? Like Mataji covered the entire outline. Any details anyone remembers and wants to add, please feel free. We can take that for the next 2 minutes and then we can start. Anything anyone remembers?
Can I add?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so Prabhuji spoke about 6 aggressors, that it is not a sin to kill them. The one who's a poison giver, who sets fire and deadly weapons, takes over someone's land, kidnaps someone's wife. And he said, a Kshatriya will never step back or will not refuse a battle. So Arjuna was placed in such a condition that he could not say no. He was trying to figure out why the other party cannot understand what's coming next. He could see the ill effect. He could see that, as you said, the family tradition would be destroyed. The ladies would be taken over by the other kings, and this would lead to actually irreligion. That's how the family tradition would be destroyed, and the woman would get polluted and unwanted projects.
Right. Yes. So Arjuna could see the evils, but nobody on the other side, like Duryodhan, Dushasana, no one could see what evil was coming. Yes. Anything else? Anyone wants to add?
Yeah, and also it's the duty of the men. It's not only the lady who has to, be or keep the family united. It's both together that makes the family go ahead.
Right.
I remember Shelza pointing out this point last time.
Yes. Okay. Anyone else? Any other points they want to add? Anything? All right. Let's move ahead then. So, Shloka 1.42. Doshairetai kulagnanam varna shankara karakai
Shankarakarkai
utsadyante jati dharma
Sadante Jati Dharma
kula dharmascha shashvata.
Dharmascha Shasvata.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
I'll read it. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated.
Yes. So, by the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. You want to read the purport as well?
Yeah. Community projects for the 4 orders of human society combined with family welfare activities as they are set forth by the institution of Santana Dharma or sorry?
Sanatana Dharma.
Okay, sorry. Of Sanatana Dharma or
Ashrama.
Vanashrama Dharma are designed to enable the human being to attain his ultimate salvation. Therefore, the breaking of Sanatana Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings about chaos in that society. Consequently, people forget the aim of life, Vishnu. Such leaders are called blind, and persons who follow such leaders are sure to be led into chaos.
Right. So here it's being described that how because of evil deeds of some, the family tradition is destroyed, unwanted children are flooding the society. And Prabhupada in purport, he's describing community projects for the 4 orders of human society. Anyone knows what are the 4 orders of human society? Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
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 Anyone knows what is the 4 orders of human society?
Yes, brahmacharya ashrama, grahastha ashrama, vanaprastha ashrama, varnashrama, and sannyasa ashrama.
Yeah, those are the ashramas. So varnashram basically is 4 varnas and 4 ashramas, right? What are the varnas?
Business class.
Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra.
Yes.
Brahman is the intelligent class. It's described as, in a human body, you need the brain, right? Or you need the head. So that's Brahmana. Kshatriyas are like the arms. Uh, Vaishyas are like the stomach. They basically are into the business class, who are into trade and farming and so many other things, and cow protection. And the Shudras, who are the legs. So that makes up the complete body, right? So a society essentially was divided into these 4 varnas and 4 ashramas, which Mataji just said. The sannyas ashram, or starting from actually the brahmacharya ashram, the grahastha ashram, the vanprastha ashram, and sannyas ashram. These are the 4 ashramas. Now, this first of all, you should also understand what is the meaning of ashram. Ashram and ashray, they kind of stem from the same root word. So ashram means where you get ashray. Ashray means shelter, right? So essentially the central point of an ashram was to cultivate God consciousness or Krishna consciousness. That was the purpose of an ashram, because that is a place where we take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And some of us are in Grahastha ashram, right? So Grahastha ashram is the family life that is centered around Krishna or God. So there are 2 words, Grihastha, Grihastha ashram, and Grihamedi. So one is a Grihastha, the other is a Grihamedi. Now, what is a Grihamedi? Grihamedi is a person or a family who's self-centered, whose activities are not centered around God, but they are actually centered around their own sense gratification. That is known as Grihamedi. So people may call, I belong to the Grihastha ashram, but actually, uh, till the time they are not taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it cannot be called Grihastha ashram. They are simply running after satisfying their own senses. So that's termed as Grihamedi in the scriptures. So like I said, this ashram was meant for giving shelter to people, because when they actually come in the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they'll be taken care of. And then the entire society was set in such a way that they would progressively, increase or progressively move towards taking more and more shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It was, a progressive path to more and more surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's how the society was set up in the Varnashram system. And even the Varnas, they were divided basis, Guna and Karma. Guna means quality, and Karma means action. So not that how the Britishers kind of labeled it, or how in past the society had become, that only by birth they were considering Brahmana's son means Brahmana. So that is not the case. So Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnam Maya Shrishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. He's saying that this Varnashram system has been created by me, and based on what basis? On basis of Guna and Karma. So say for example, if if someone is born, in a magistrate's house, does he become? Do you call him a magistrate?
No.
No, right? He has to first of all study, right? And he has to get a degree. He has to have the qualities. First practice law. Go through the entire studies, and practice law as a lawyer, and then after many years, then he'll become a magistrate. So he has to have the guna, which means he has to have the knowledge plus the aptitude for being a magistrate, and then he has to practice karma. He has to also practice law, and then after a few years he can be called as a magistrate. So both are required, guna and karma. Someone may, be a very, very well qualified doctor, right? I know of a person who's a, qualified dentist, but he's not practicing dentistry anymore. And he's basically doing working with an organization, doing business. Will we call him a dentist?
No.
No, right? Because although he's qualified, he had studied, but currently he's not practicing. He's not working as a dentist. So he will be designated as a businessman or whatever, right? But we won't call him a dentist. So this Varnashram system was based on these two factors, guna and karma. So so basically that is Varnashram dharma. And what is Sanatan dharma? Anyone? We must have heard this word many, many times. What is Sanatan dharma? Anyone? What is Sanatan dharma? Not so difficult. Okay.
Based on religion and principles of religion.
Yeah. So religion is actually an English word. It's a loose translation of dharma. So there's a difference between the word religion and dharma. So, but we kind of loosely translate dharma into religion. So religion is connected to faith, correct? So I belong to Hindu religion because I have a certain faith. Tomorrow I may change my religion and I may become a Christian or a Muslim or a Sikh or something else, right? So depending on what my faith is, where I put my faith, I can change the religion, isn't it? Correct? Whereas dharma is it's actually translated as an eternal occupation. Dharma is an inseparable quality, just like water's dharma is to flow or be liquid. Liquidity is dharma of water. Dharma of sugar is to be sweet. If you take out sweetness from sugar, it doesn't remain sugar anymore, isn't it? So dharma is that intrinsic quality which is inseparable. It's the very nature of a thing. That is dharma, right? So our dharma or eternal occupation. So Sanatan means eternal and dharma means occupation. So Sanatan dharma is our eternal occupation. So our eternal occupation is two things. One is to know God and second to love and serve Him. So any religion which claims to be bona fide religion must have these two ingredients as the central point. One is to know God, second is to love and serve Him. This is the main purpose of all kinds of religion. So that is our eternal occupation. Our very nature is to love and serve. We are looking to put our loving energy in a direction or in a channel. So if someone doesn't have anyone to love, they will even keep pet dogs because they have to channelize their loving energy somewhere. So that is showing love. But instead of loving God, we are showing love to all different kinds of things, and we are getting not expected reciprocation also. Someone may love someone so much, but then the expectation of a reciprocation is so high that it just leads to fights, right? So and by nature we are servants. We are servants of the Lord. So we have to serve someone or the other, right? Actually, originally we are servants of God, but now because we've forgotten that and we are our consciousness is contaminated. We are trying to serve something or the other. So no one, absolutely no one, is without any service. You pick up anybody, they will be doing some sort of service. So a husband may be serving the wife may be serving the family, parents may be serving the children in turn may be serving the parents, uh, the family is serving the society is serving the nation, like that. So even the king is serving the subjects, or the ministers are supposed to serve the people, like that. Or they themselves might be serving their family members, if not the people. Right? So nobody is free from service, because that is our very nature. So our dharma is to serve the Lord, but right now we have that nature, very nature to serve, but we are serving something else. We just have to now dovetail our serving propensity and loving propensity to Krishna, where it originally belongs. So, community projects for the four orders of human society, combined with family welfare activities as they are set forth by the institution of Sanatan Dharma or Varnashram Dharma, are designed to enable the human being to attain his ultimate salvation. So earlier, all the kings, they used to, run the society in such a way that administration was, right now it's a big, big task. But earlier, the kings were so qualified that they could run administration very, very easily. And they were guided by Raj Rishi. They were known as Raj Rishis. They were guided by Brahmanas. Like I said, the Brahmanas are the head of the society, the Kshatriyas are the arms. So they were actually, they would take counsel from very, very renowned sages and. Okay. So like that, they were guided, and they would actually make plans. So their main business was not administration. Administration, of course, they would do, but that would not take so much of their energy. Their main energy would be taken up by, arranging. Uh, say, for example, big yagyas. That's the reason you would read so many stories, particularly from Treta Yuga, that how so many kings were performing different yagyas. How in Dwapar Yuga they were arranging for different ways of worshipping the deities in the temple, or how the kings themselves would set example and go in the forest and meditate, like King Bharata in the Satyuga. They would go in the forest and meditate. So depending on what age they came in, these different kings were actually following the path of self-realization and also organizing things in a way that the general public also engages in these spiritual activities. That was their main agenda, to uplift the society through spirituality. That was their main job, right? And whenever there was a problem, when the kings were polluted, or like Parshuramji, he came and 21 times he killed all the Kshatriyas who were not on the path of religion, who were not on the path of dharma, rather. So 21 times he uh, vacated the earth of all these different kind of Kshatriyas who were demoniac. So that is how the balance in the society was maintained. And even Lord Ramchandra, he would actually disguise himself and go in the city to understand if everything was happening correctly or not. Okay. So and that was the duty of the king, to ensure that all the subjects are on the path of righteousness, are on the path of spirituality. So to give you an example, King Vena in past. So there was a king by the name Vena. He was very, very impious, and all his kingdom basically suffered because of all his impious activities, and he was not caring for performing any yajna or doing any spiritual activities, and he just indulged in wine, women, and enjoying the luxurious life as a king. And he would collect unfair taxes, trouble the brahmanas. So the brahmanas, he would not take counsel from the brahmanas also. So at a point where it became too much, the brahmanas were so powerful that just by mantras they killed him. right? He was becoming too atrocious. So it had to be checked. So the Brahmanas just chanted some mantras and King Vena died. The Brahmanas were so powerful. And then they churned his body because there is a requirement of a king. And the Brahmanas were so liberal and fixed in their own duty that nobody said, "Ki theek hai, abhi main king ban jata," and enjoy everything. The Brahmanas, the mood of the Brahmanas were they would not keep a lot of wealth with themselves. They would keep, even if they receive a lot of charity, they would keep the limited amount that is required for them and then give away the excess in charity to others. Today, if you try to do that, you know, they will take away all your wealth and still ask, Ani, or give me more. So yeah, so the Brahmanas used to be so liberal. In fact, Dashrath Maharaj, he was very very famous for giving charity, and there was a point where he gave away everything in charity. His kingdom was so prosperous that and so much wealth because of his his strength and his righteousness and spiritual energy. The Mother Earth was also kind of supplying him whatever he needed, and there was so much abundance, and he gave away everything in charity to all the Brahmanas, like literally everything. He did not keep anything. He was so liberal, and then the Brahmanas in turn gave it back to him. Like, no, no, you only take care. You need to do administration. So they gave everything back to him. So that was the nature of the Brahmanas earlier. So King Vena, he died like that. And the Brahmanas, what they did, they thought, ki, okay, now we still need someone to rule the kingdom, and it is important that some righteous person rules the kingdom. So they meditated on the Lord and churned the body of King Vena, and from his body only there was another personality by the name of Prithu Maharaj. The reference is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. He comes, he manifested, and Prithu Maharaj is actually considered as a Shaktyavesh avatar of the Lord. Shaktyavesh avatar means a living entity which is infused with the power by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's known as Shaktyavesh avatar to do some amazing tasks. So he basically set an example of how to run the society, and he kind of started performing all the different kind of yagyas, took care of the subjects like his own children, and made sure, like, if you have children, you make sure that they are given the right kind of learning, and the right kind of values. Their character is built up. So like that, the king was responsible, and all the subjects were treated like children, and he would ensure that everyone was on the path of spirituality. So he started performing different yagyas, and Mother Earth, who was not giving anything during the time of King Vena, now started giving all the grains, fruits, flowers in abundance. So this is the kind of welfare activities on a level of a community and on a level of a family were designed in the institution of Sanatan Dharma and Varnashram Dharma. And because of the destruction of family traditions, all such activities were stopped, because there was no one to actually initiate those activities. Or Arjuna is saying that there won't be anyone to initiate those activities. If people who actually know what to do, they are only killed, and women is polluted, right? So who will initiate such activities? That was his concern. Therefore, the breaking of Sanatan Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings about chaos in that society. We can see that in our, in our lives. So many times we've seen that, right? So, if all of y'all now can think of an example of some tradition in your own family, or if you would have seen some other family that was going on and now it has been stopped, which was good, which was should have been continued, but it is stopped right now. Anything that you can think of and share. Anything your grandparents would be
Sir,
doing.
previously we used to get the Ganesha's ideal for 10 days. And nowadays they hardly make it 1.5 means 1.5 दिन का हो जाता है. So we used to pray till 10 days, 10 to 11 days, and then now it is like 1.5 दिन का हो गया, like in villages.
Okay. Right. Any other examples? What
I
was
think
parents
I
do?
remember one.
Yeah. Sorry. Go on, Priyanka.
Yeah, I remember one. In Diwali, we used to do Lakshmi Pujan, and now I think nobody is doing Lakshmi Pujan, and they are more into vacations, and they're basically closing their houses and going for 3-4 days. So even in on a New Year's Day, nobody is available at home, you know. So that everything has stopped. Everybody is traveling.
Right.
All festivals have become occasions for socializing.
Yeah.
People come together to socialize. It's not the
Yeah.
mood of the festival is gone.
Yes.
A simple thing as basic as the families living together, eating together. Do you find that destroyed now? Right? Do people sit together and eat?
Yeah, basics are also gone.
Anything else you would have noticed, your parents or grandparents doing, or they would be saying कि पहले ये होता था अभी नहीं होता है.
I think everybody's gone into nuclear families now rather than a joint.
Yeah.
People have moved into nuclear, like all single family. The concept of joint family is gone now.
Right.
When it comes to birthday parties, earlier grandparents used to encourage going to the temple. Now it's parties.
Yes. Yeah. Shantala Mataji, Rinku Mataji, and Krishna Agarwal Prabhu, anything from your end? You think something was happening earlier, now it stopped?
Yes, children used to obey their parents. Nowadays, they don't listen to parents.
Yeah. Parents, yeah. Amit Prabhu, anything? Shantala Mataji, yes, you want to say something?
We used to get grandmothers and grandparents love. Nowadays, the grandchildren are what they are not getting the love of and all, which they should get.
Start watching TVs more nowadays instead of prayers, and for the kids also.
So,
While also they want to watch movie or something cartoon like that.
So earlier, what would happen is before the era of television, right? People would actually, and the village culture was so good. People would every evening gather together, and they were, they would hear Hari Katha. They would see dramas on, Ram Leela or Mahabharata or something like that. Such kind of dramas were watched in the village. Now, I remember I was hearing a class, so. This is what he was describing amazingly. So he was telling that how in today's age, everywhere it's a trap, right? So internet, it's a net to catch you, right? World Wide Web, you'll be caught in the web, and so like that. Everywhere it's actually a place to catch you or trap you. So and he was describing how the television is like 100-headed Ravana in our house. Now it's I think gone to 250 or 300 or 500. I don't know, but that's like the 500 head Ravana in our house. So earlier there was just one Ravana with 10 heads. Now it's in our house, and we are worshipping that Ravana every day by spending like so many hours in front of it. Yeah.
I think the personal touch has gone with internet. There is no connectivity with humans.
Yes.
With web-based and social. That connectivity has gone completely.
Yeah. So earlier people used to meet and it was so much personal. In fact, the whole idea that the Supreme Lord is personal, right? He's a person, is going slowly and steadily, and the evil of impersonalism, or the God, everything is one. God is also, we are also God. That kind of wrong information is being spread in society, and people are getting naturally getting that instinct that, oh, everything is impersonal, because they're exposed to their all their interactions are impersonal, like you just rightly said. There's interactions are also not so deep. Exactly. Any other points? Anything that was being followed earlier, now it's lost, or it's on the decline? Yes. Yes.
Traditional dance.
Traditional dance.
Like now, if I have to inquire for Lavanya, I'll be like, what's wrong with you? Why do you want her to learn the traditional one?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, mother, you had your hand raised.
We used to listen to our parents. Now we have to listen to our children,
Tables have turned.
Things have become different, and karma is explained in terms of random mutation, karma, they don't believe in karma, everything is explained with science.
Yeah. So you can explain them the science of karma. Okay. Anyone wants to add any points, or we move ahead? Chinmay, do you notice anything that is happening, that was happening, now it stopped? Something good was happening and now it's not happening?
Now there's no patience and intolerance is there.
Yeah. So one devotee was describing how this whole instant gratification culture with the Amazons of the world, and video games, things are, the person is sitting, the child is sitting in the in front of the television playing the video game, and everything is super fast. One speedy car is going and he's trying to maneuver it, and in his game, so everything is so fast. And then when he wants a glass of water, and if he requests his mother or grandmother, and they're getting up slowly and going to the kitchen and then filling the water, he doesn't have that patience, because he's exposed to something which is so instant and fast. He gets irritable. Why are you taking so much time, right? So that's exactly what we're exposing our children to, and we should expect then such kind of behavior.
One very important one. Earlier, our grandparents used to give so much value to our scriptures, to Bhagavad Gita,
Yes.
and now it's just mythology. And some parents are encouraging.
Yeah. Yes, Partha Prabhu, you were saying something.
Recently, His Grace Prithu Prabhu, who is a senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he was sharing a story. So he said once there was a boy, and he was given literally everything that he wanted from his mother. So mother gave him everything. So like it is today, generally children ask for something and parents feel, yes, I did not get in my life, let him be happy, let me give him everything, whatever he or she desires. So as he was growing like that, he already had developed that whatever I want, I should get. And then once it came, it so happened that he wanted something and he did not get it. So but he could not tolerate that if I want something, I don't get it, it was something new for him. So that drove him to actually become like a thief and steal what he wanted, and that eventually landed him up in jail. So, and then he was sentenced for some punishment, and then he was asked, is there any final wish that you have? He said, yes, my final wish is that I want to meet my mother. So then the mother was called, and the child met the mother in the jail, and the child said, the mother was very sorry to see the child's position. She said, oh, I'm so this is so bad that this has happened to you. So but you called to meet me. Then the child said, yes, all this has happened because of you. And the mother was like, what? Because of me? What did I not do for you? I gave you everything, whatever you ever wanted, I gave it to you. And the boy said, yes, that's the problem. You gave me everything that I wanted. And then the way he described it, the child, it, you know, catches hold of the mother's ears and pulls it out. So in other words, like the story was such that, you know, he realized that because I got everything in my life, it made me, so much greedy. And I could not tolerate that I did not get something. So sometimes the way we are actually bringing children up, we don't realize how, it's going to come back in a different way. So it's a whole science of, how to even bring up our child. It's one story that just came to my mind, shared by Prithu Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing. Right.
I see.
So I think some
The family as a unit is breaking up.
yes, yes. So I remember.
Everybody wants to be independent.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
So there's a saying, and I remember my Guru Maharaj was saying this. There's a famous saying: "A family that prays together stays together." Right? So if you don't build that culture, then yeah, you can expect the families not to stay together. So
And we, at one point, we
yes.
used to listen to our parents and grandparents, Nowadays, if you talk too much, they'll tell you bhashan na. Like, don't lecture so much.
Yeah,
That is the dialogue I get most of the time.
yeah. So we have to deal with them very intelligently now that the culture of listening has not been cultivated at all. So they won't listen. And then now, how do you deal with them? So a devotee is intelligent, and we need to deal with them very, very intelligently, in some other indirect way, so that they get the point. And yeah, it's a big topic. Maybe some other day. Cannot discuss it at length right now, but yeah. So and even on a level of a society, we see how our leaders, they basically are blind. you know they are just after material benefit, and nobody is worried of the spiritual elevation of the society, right? So such leaders are called blind, and the persons who follow such leaders are sure to be led into chaos. So it's Prabhupada used to say, Shudras selecting, a greater Shudra to become, the leader of the society. It's like people who are already, uh, you know, sinful. They just want enjoyment, and they don't care about actual welfare of themselves and the others. They are selecting another rascal amongst themselves and electing him as a leader. So how we can expect anything good from that society? Okay, moving on.
Chinmay has something to share.
Yes, yes, please.
Chinmay?
Who's sharing, Prabhu?
Chinmay, yes, Chinmay. You got muted, Chinmay.
Yes, sir. Sir, around a week ago, there was a birthday party. So there, it was told to everyone that everyone needs to perform something. So the birthday boy and one more friend and me, we all decided to recite the first three shlokas of the first chapter.
Oh, very nice. They understood.
Okay.
They understood what you did.
So Chinmay is how old are you, Chinmay?
11.
11. He's a regular participant of our class.
So amazing, Chinmay. Very, very good to hear. And we're so proud of you that you actually did this for your friend. That's the real gift you can give to anyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right. So what is our responsibility? Now that we know this, what is our responsibility actually? Chinmay just inspired me to say these things now. So like he is trying to learn, and he's also sharing. He's trying to give that ultimate, uh, you know, benediction of Bhagavad Gita to others or giving that gift to others, it's also our responsibility individually to, now that we know this, we should, it's like, I found the cure for the biggest disease on the planet. If someone finds a cure for coronavirus, or someone finds a cure for AIDS and cancer, obviously they would want to kind of immediately share with everyone. So this is a cure for birth, death, old age, disease, right? And other three types of miseries as well. And it's a cure for broken relationships. It's a cure for being depressed, frustrated. So if you are really concerned about others, about, if not general people, at least your family members and your friends, somehow or other, in a very intelligent way, you should try and give Krishna consciousness to them. A devotee is very intelligent, like I was saying. He doesn't disturb someone who's not willing to hear. Rather, what the simplest thing everyone can do is prepare some nice dish which everyone likes, offer it to the Lord. Right? Again, it has to be sattvic, it has to be without onion, garlic, etc. Right? Offer it to the Lord, and then distribute it as prasad. You don't even have to tell them that this is prasad, because some people might object to that also. So just feed them prasad, and what will happen by that is that there is something called as sukruti. Sukruti means piety. There are different kinds of piety. One is bhoga unmukha sukruti, pious activities which lead to more enjoyment as a result. So if you do good, you get the good back, like I was saying. So this sukruti, bhoga unmukha sukruti, is piety which leads to more enjoyment. Then there is mukti unmukha sukruti, piety which leads to liberation. So you open hospitals, you do so many different charitable work, you have sense control. All of this piety leads to what you say, mukti. And then there is bhakti unmukha sukruti, piety which leads to bhakti. This is a very special kind of piety, or sukruti, bhakti unmukha sukruti. So honoring prasadam, knowingly, unknowingly, seeing devotees, appreciating kirtan, these are all bhakti unmukha sukruti, or piety which leads to devotion. So if someone is unwilling to hear you, and that's not unusual, if someone is unwilling to hear you, you simply give them some prasadam. You simply, if someone likes music, share them a nice kirtan, uh, you know, uh, take them to temple once in a while. So all these things will develop bhakti unmukha sukruti in them, and one day they will be ready to hear you. Very soon, actually, they will be ready to hear you. If this sukruti, when it gets collected, then one is willing to hear. So we have to work intelligently. If someone is not listening in our family, that's okay. That's expected. But then you have to work in this way. At least these 3-4 things immediately we can do. Or engage him in some service without their knowledge also. Right? Some people might be willing. In some cases, some people might not be willing to do a small service, like, please get a glass of water. I need to offer it to the Lord. Some simple small service also, the heart will change slowly and steadily, and they'll be willing to hear you at some point in time. So thank you, Chinmay, for inspiring me to say all of this. So that's all of our responsibilities. It's like we are receiving the best thing, and if you want to increase it, you have to distribute it, right? Material things, if you distribute, it is lost. Spiritual things, if you distribute, it grows more and more. So please take it up. And we can all learn from Chinmay's example. Right. Let's get on to the next sloka. Utsana kula dharmanam
उत्सलाकुलधर्माणां
manushyanam janardana
मनुष्याणां जनार्दन
narake niyatam vaso
नरकेतं वासो
bhavatitti anushushama.
bhavatiti anushushma. Sorry, Guruji, I think you got muted. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Anyone wants to read the translation?
Can I read?
Yes, please.
O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in
Who is in hell? Krishna,
Yeah. So
maintainer of the people.
it's a small purport. You can go and read the purport also.
open. Arjuna bases his argument not on his own personal experience but on what he has heard from the authorities. That is the way of receiving real knowledge. One cannot reach the real point of factual knowledge without being held by the right person who is already established in that knowledge. There is a system in the Varnasama institution by which before death one has to undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities. One who is always engaged in sinful activities must utilize the process of atonement called Paryasita.
Praishchitta.
Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to hellish planets to undergo miserable lives as the result of sinful activities.
Yes. So here again, Arjuna is describing that, okay, if all of this happened, what is the result? So he's saying, oh Krishna, maintainer of people, I've heard from disciplic succession, very, very important. He's not saying that I think like this. He's saying I've heard from disciplic succession, which means I've heard from authorities that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. So he's concerned that everybody is going to hell because by killing all people here, family tradition will be destroyed and the entire society will be going to hell. So he's very, very concerned about this. And he's basing his argument, like I said, not on his own personal experience, but on the knowledge that he's received from the great authorities. So that is the way of understanding things. Shabda Praman, right? Learning from the authorities. We'll discuss Pramana some other day. I don't think we have time for that. But yeah, so the best way of understanding something is to actually learn from the right authorities, right? Not that you ask uh, on a subject to someone just randomly. You cannot go to a sabji wala and tell him, sir, how is E is equal to MC square, and expect that he's going to, describe, Einstein's principle given E is equal to MC square. He's not an authority on
Keeper of God.
on mathematics, but he's an authority on sabji. He may be able to tell you what is a fresh vegetable, what is not a fresh vegetable, right? So learning from the authority is the easiest means to gain knowledge, right? Nectar of Devotion describes how, and on this particular point of atonement, particularly, sorry, Nectar of Instructions, it describes on the point of atonement how, Shukdev Goswami in Srimad Bhagavatam, he was describing that, what is the use of atonement? If somebody indulges in the same activity after atonement, what is the use of atonement? So because the nature or the desire to do that sinful activity is still there. So even if I go through some prayashchitta as per Varnashram institution, there's a little higher understanding. And even if I go through prayashchitta, you know, if I still have the same desire to commit the same sinful activity, what is the use? It's just like an elephant bathing, and when the elephant comes out, he actually takes the mud from the land and throws on its body. So he's just taken a bath, cleaned himself, and immediately as he comes out, he picks up all the dirt and throws on himself again. Right? So that's the elephant bath. So it's almost like, oh, I've gone through the process of prayashchitta, and now I'm again committing the same sinful activity. So Shukdev Goswami is putting this, Parikshit Maharaj is putting this question to Shukdev Goswami: what is the use of such atonement? So Shukdev Goswami is describing, yes, and therefore uh, the power to destroy the seed of sin, which is actually ignorance, it's there only in the process of devotional service. So if you have to, attack the seed of sin, which is ignorance, one has to take up to devotional service. So there is this famous example of Subudhi Roy. So 500 years back, 550 years back rather, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there was a person by the name Subudhi Roy. He was a great devotee of the Lord, and he had, in the early days, he had a servant who was a Muslim, a young Muslim boy. And in those days, again, because of the misinterpretation of the Vedas and the whole caste system, there was many evil practices. So it was also kind of a popular thing that if some Muslim person throws water on you, on a Hindu person, he becomes a Muslim. Or if some Muslim person works for a Hindu guy works for a Muslim person, he becomes a Muslim also. So it was very easy to convert anyone to Muslim in those days, essentially. So this Subhadi Roy, he had a servant who was a Muslim, and he was a master. And once this person had committed some mistake, and Subhadi Roy had, just to correct him, give him had given him some lashing in his back. So this person, later on, through some manipulation here and there, he became the Nawab of Bengal. So one day, this Nawab, he was resting, and his wife noticed some mark on his back, and she was astonished that, who has done this to you? How is this mark there? So then he recalled that, I had a master by the name Subiri Roy. He was very, very loving to me. He took care of me in all different ways. And once I had committed a very grievous mistake, and he had given me a lashing. So this wife was like, you should kill him. Just find out where he is and just hang him. So this person said, no, no, no. He was just like a father to me. He was so kind to me. How can I do this? But the wife was adamant, no, no, you have to do something or the other to him. So she suggested, okay, why don't you call him home and throw some water on him? He will lose his caste, and that'll be as good as death for him. So the king agreed. Okay, fine. Called him, and as he came, they threw some water on him. And as per those evil customs at that point in time, he turned into Muslim. So now he went to all the different brahmanas, approached them. Please tell me, how should I rectify this situation of mine? So everyone was suggesting so many things. People suggested, oh, now that you've lost your caste, drink boiling ghee, full glass of boiling ghee, and drink. So Subudhi Roy said, oh, if I drink that, all my internal parts will just burn out and I'll die. Well, yes, that will be a good prashchitta for you. And then you'll be born as a Brahmana again. So like that, people were suggesting so many different kinds of, atonements, which are impractical, of course. So finally, he was so frustrated, and he, somehow or other, he went to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, simply chant Hare Krishna, everything will be taken care of. You don't need to go through any of these things. So because Hare Krishna Mahamantra purifies oneself completely, not that he was saying, oh, now you become Muslim, you need to get purified, not that. But in general, he was saying that any mistake anyone has committed, any sinful activities they've done, you simply take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chant his names, and it will actually, uh, rectify the ignorance in the heart, which is the root cause of that sin. So, not just that you do atonement was to rectify the desire in the heart of committing that sin, but if that is not working, what is the use? So, Harinam will actually rectify the desire in the heart to commit that sinful activities again. So that is the highest form of atonement he described. Right? You don't need to go through any other process. It's as simple. Imagine if there is a murderer standing in the court, ready to be convicted, and the judge says, take my name and I'll let you go. How good that offer is for the person who's committed the crime.
Best offer.
It's so simple, right? Take my name and go. Right? So that is the kind of offer we are getting. Right? We've committed mountains and mountains of sin. And Krishna is saying, just take my name. And Sarva Dharman Pradija Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo. I'll take care of all your sinful reactions. Mokshe Shami Mahasitra. Right? Do not fear. Why he's able to say that? Because not just that the person will be rectified, the desire to commit those sins will be gone. So a very amazing story comes to mind. There was this. So once what happened after all the Pandavas, they had won the kingdom. So everyone was coming to Yudhishthir Maharaj to take suggestions to solve their problems. And Bhima, he thought everyone is going to Yudhishthir Maharaj to get their problems solved, right? I should also probably advertise that people can come to me also to get their problems solved. So he basically set up a shop, right? Samasya Nivaran Kendra Bhima, by Bhima, right? So he set up a shop like that and invited people to come over and get their problems solved. So the first person came and he told Bhima, sir, I have a problem. Kya ho gaya? So, sir, I had actually put a fencing around my, farm to actually protect my farm from, so many animals, etc. But the fencing actually ate away my farm, destroyed my farm. So Bhima started scratching his head. How can the fence destroy the farm? He was so confused, like, okay, you please go to Yudhishthir Maharaj only, I cannot solve this. So second person came. Sir, I have a problem. Like, what is the problem? So I have a jug and I have 4 glasses. So so the jug is able to fill all those 4 glasses, but the 4 glasses cannot again fill back the jug. So he thought, there is a jug, 100% water there, and there are, say for example, 1 liter of water there, 4 glasses, 250 ml each. If I pour, water in all these 4 glasses, everything is full, the jug is empty. And now if I have to put back the same water into the jug, how is that the jug is not filled? Again, there should be 1 liter. So he was very, very confused. Like, okay, you also go to Yudhishthir Maharaj. I cannot solve this. Then, another man came. Yudhishthir Maharaj, please help me, please help me. And what happened? Oh, my cow gave birth to a calf and ate the calf. Yudhishthir Maharaj was surprised. Like, cow, first of all, is a vegetarian. Cow is the most loving and protective towards a calf. Even if the cow turned non-vegetarian, it'll eat something else. Why will it eat its own calf? He could not solve it. Like, okay, please, you also go to Yudhishthir Maharaj. I cannot really solve this. Then, another person came. He's like, oh, Yudhishthir Maharaj, in my neighborhood, there is a man who with a single thread, he's actually, tying that thread to the mountain and breaking the mountains. Bhima is confused, like, thread se tie karke pahad tod raha hai. How is that even possible? Like, okay, you also go to Yudhishthir. He was so frustrated, like, yeah, I cannot solve anything. I should just shut my shop. So then he thought, okay, let me see and go inside and see, is Yudhishthir Maharaj able to solve this problem? What happened to these 4 or 5 people who came? So when he went inside, he saw none of them were there. And Yudhishthir Maharaj was standing there along with Draupadi. So Bhima said, Arey, where are those people I sent inside? So Yudhishthir Maharaj said, oh, those people, you did not realize they were the symptoms of Kali Yuga. These 5 people or 4 people, they were symptoms of Kali Yuga. What are the symptoms? The first person, he said, the fence, he put to protect the farm the fence only ate the farm or destroyed the farm. So he said, in Kali Yuga, Rakshak will become Bhakshak. The person whom you seek protection from, that person will only destroy you. Right? One of the symptoms of Kali Yuga. And we can see that, right? Then he said, the second, the jug is able to fill the glasses. The glasses are not able to fill the jug. So he said, in Kali Yuga, the parents will be able to give all protection and care to the children, but the children in return won't be able to do that. Right? They will say, "Arey, kahan se bude log aa gaye? Chodo, we'll enjoy," like that. And then, what was the third one?
Thread in the mountain.
Cow and calf.
Cow and calf.
Thread in the mountain also.
Thread in the mountain was the last. Cow and calf. So he said, in Kali Yuga, mothers will kill their children in the womb. And we see so many cases of abortion, people trying to, protest for an abortion law that it should be legalized, right? There are more than 10 million abortions a year on an average. So, cow who's most affectionate to the calf is killing, right? So, mother who's supposed to be the most protective towards the child is killing the child right in the womb. And there was one more I'm forgetting actually. I did not give one more example. What was that? So the last thing was a thread, but there was one more I forgot. Anyway,
May I add?
Yes, yes.
The one more which I know is there'll be a well from where the water will be overflowing. So the rich will get more rich and the poor will get more poor.
Oh, I now remember the.
And this is what I know.
Yes,
So could
you
be.
reminded me. You reminded me of the one.
Yes.
So
Yes.
one more was, he came to Bhima. Oh, Bhima, Bhima, please help me. Right. I was putting the elephant through the eye of the needle, and his tail is stuck. So Bhima was like, first of all, you were able to put the elephant through the eye of the needle, and he did not get stuck, but the tail is stuck. How is that? So Yudhishthira Maharaj then described that in Kali Yuga, all the dons will roam around on the street very, very freely. They won't be caught. But the small choru chukka, they will be caught. Right? They will be caught by the law, but all the big guys will just, they will easily pass through the, from the eyes of the law, and they will roam around very freely. And the last one, this person, he is, with a thread, he is actually breaking the mountains. So what is this? This is a very interesting one. So Yudhishthira Maharaj said, in Kali Yuga, with the thread of holy name, people will be able to break the mountains and mountains of their sinful activities. So our sins are like Mount Sumeru. They're so huge. They're like mountains. So just by the thread of Harinam, people can just shake the mountains and break it. Right? That's the power of the holy name. So these are some of the symptoms which Yudhishthira Maharaj described to Bhima. So yeah, so instead of Prayashchita, the greatest Prayashchita is just to chant the Harinam, the holy name of Krishna. And not just that he's freed, like I was giving the example, Judge says, take my name and go. So not just that he's free, but he's also freed from the desire to commit that sinful activity again. Right? So without doing so, one will surely be transferred to hellish planets to undergo miserable lives as a result of sinful activities. So in the Varnashram system or in the Vedic culture, these prayashchita was important because otherwise you will suffer in hell. Therefore, in Manu Samhita, if somebody has committed a crime like killing someone, he was as a punishment to be killed. And that was actually showing mercy to the person, because if the same amount of punishment is not given to the person, he is likely to suffer in hell very, very badly. So actually, to be hanged until that punishment, as per Manu Samhita, is good for the person, so that the account is closed, not that he has to suffer in hell for killing someone like that. Okay, I think last few shlokas are remaining. Let's quickly do that, and we'll finish the chapter today. So just bear with me for the next 5 minutes. Aho bata mahat papam. Everyone can repeat.
Aho bata mahapapam
Kartum yavasita vayam.
kartum vyavastita vayam
Yad rajya sukha lobhena.
gadaraja sukha lobhena
Hantum swajanma udyata.
Antum swajana udyata.
Okay, translation. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent on killing our own kinsmen. So Arjuna is concerned, and Prabhupada writes, driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined to such sinful activities as sinful acts as the killing of one's own brother, father, or mother. There are many such instances in the history of the world. But Arjuna, being a saintly devotee of the Lord, is always conscious of moral principles and therefore takes care to avoid such activities. So basically, being a devotee is very, very conscious not to commit such sinful activities. The last one, sorry, not the last one, the second last one. Yadi mam apratikaram
यदि मा प्रतीकारम्
ashastram
yati
shastrapan
ma pratikara
ashastram shastrapan
अशस्त्रं शस्त्रपाणयः
shastramam
bhartarashtrarane hanyus
आतराष्ट्रारणे
tanme shemataram bhavet.
तन्मे
shanme
श्रीमातरं भवेत्.
Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. On the battlefield, so he was ready to be killed on the battlefield without, lifting his weapons. If they kill him, that's okay. Kshatriya basically they do not, as a principle, they do not, attack anyone who's unarmed and unwilling to fight. That's what Sri Prabhupada is describing in the purport. And all these symptoms are due to the soft-heartedness of Arjuna due to his being a great devotee. Last sloka of the chapter. Sanjaya Uvacha
sanjaya vacha
Evam Uktva Arjuna
Sanjaya Uvacha.
Evam
एवं
Uktva
मुक्तार्जुनः
Arjuna
साङ्ख्यैः
Rathopastha Upavishat.
एवमुक्त्वार्जुनः
Okay, I think there is a
रथोपस्था
Rathopastha Upavishat
रथोपस्थः उपाविशत्
Visrajya Sa Sharam Chapam
विसृज्य शरं चापं
Shoka Samvigna Manasaha.
शोकसंविघ्नमानसः.
Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrow and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. So, purport, while observing the situation of his enemy, Arjuna stood up on the chariot, but he was so afflicted with lamentation that he sat down again, setting aside his bow and arrows. Such a kind and soft-hearted person in devotional service of the Lord is fit to receive self-knowledge. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to the first chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Sanjay in the end is describing to Dhritarashtra that Arjuna has kept his bow and arrow aside and he sat on his chariot overwhelmed with grief. So we've come to the conclusion of the first chapter. Thank you very much. So any questions, any comments, any reflections till now?
Prabhuji, one point I missed. The four orders of human society. Can you tell me what Shudra means? You
Shudra.
explaining.
So
Yeah.
Shudra means the working class. Like Brahmana, their job is to just, and the division is just like, someone is an engineer. So there is, what is the different types of work for the engineer. Similarly, what is a Shudra is someone who's a working class, right? Like in modern day times, practically we are all Shudras. We are working for an employer. Right? Kalau Sarva, Kalau Sarva sorry. Kalau Sambha Shudra. What is that?
Shudra Sambhava.
Hello, Shudra Sambhava. Yeah. So in Kali Yuga, everyone is born Shudra, which means that everyone is, not born with great qualities like a Brahmana or a Kshatriya. So, and yes, you can develop these qualities by practice, by learning scriptures, by following the instructions given in the Bhagavad Gita. You can actually raise yourself from a Shudra to a Brahmana also. And Brahmana, what is the meaning of the word Brahmana? Brahma Janati iti Brahman, right? One who understands the Brahman or the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a Brahman. So the more and more we learn about the Lord, and we basically develop the qualities of a Brahmana, and then we start acting like a Brahmana in terms of giving this knowledge to others. Yajan Yajan Patan Patan Dana Pratikva. These are some of the activities of a Brahmana, right? Yajan Yajan. He is doing self-study and he is also teaching others. He is doing yajna for himself and yajna for the others. Patan Patan, self-study and teaching others. Dana Pratigriha. He is giving charity and accepting charity. These are some of the activities of a Brahmana. So one, by developing qualities through hearing and practicing, can also raise oneself to the level of a Brahmana, like that. All right. Any other questions or comments or reflections? Okay. So till the time people are thinking about reflections or questions, there are some announcements very, very important. I'll make them, and then if anyone has a question, we can also address that. So next week, since we've completed the first chapter, we will start off with reading, and we can decide. We can either read the English translation of the entire first chapter, or we can just go through that and do that in about 10 minutes or so. Go through the entire chapter, just the translations, or we can do the Sanskrit also, or we can just do the Sanskrit or the English. You can decide one of them and go over the entire chapter again. Also, I would want you all to okay, how many people are there?
Around 13, probably 14.
14, yes. So I would want you all to pick up a few sections of the Bhagavad Gita. Just pick up 3 to 4 shlokas, and like that, and we can probably divide that for you and give it to you. Maybe you can prepare those 3 or 4 shlokas in terms of understanding what those 3 or 4 shlokas are, and explain it to the class like you would be teaching a new person. So I think when you teach, that is the time when you are completely sure of what the subject is. Without that, you won't be able to teach. So just to go deeper into the understanding, you can at least prepare a few shlokas. We can divide the entire chapter. There are 46 verses amongst 13 or 14 people. That'll approximately come around to 3 or 4 shlokas, and like that you can prepare those, and we can have a session next week wherein everyone can present those 3 or 4 shlokas, give an understanding of those 3 or 4 shlokas to everyone. Everyone will get let's see, so there are 14 people, maybe 3 to 4 minutes to present those 3 to 4 shlokas. So one shloka per minute, something like that, right? Does that sound fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And some other announcements also. So how many of you all are living in Mumbai out of the group here?
Can you raise your maybe virtual hands because not all videos are on.
Yeah, raise some virtual hands. Yeah.
Okay, we see thumbs up and claps.
Okay, let's I think make it simple. Who? Okay, people are still doing it.
Yeah, we can count. So Vidhi, Shelja, 1, 2, 3, Chinmay, 3, Sujatha, Kavita, 4, 5, Shantala, Mataji, 6. Priyanka, you are from Mumbai? I see a thumbs up. Okay, 7.
Yes, myself also.
Rinku Mataji, 8. Okay.
So most of y'all are from Mumbai. Great.
Yeah.
What we are trying to do is next week we are trying to arrange the same class, face to face in the temple. So let's see if that works out. So again, we'll have to work out, which hall, etc. So we'll keep you posted on the group. But it'll be nice to have actually face-to-face discussion. And you can also come down to the Hare Krishna temple in Juhu, take darshan of Shri Shri Radha Ras Bihari there, and then we can all have a nice program and follow that up with prasadam. So prasadam is also missing, so you'll get to taste that as well.
Prabhuji, can we have it next week?
So online will.
So next.
I want to come, but if I'm not there, I'm going to miss. So are we going to do these sessions, once a month?
No. So we are going to. So once we start coming, and if things are okay, we can all meet up in the temple regularly every Saturday. And those who are still online, we can still continue the online one as well. But having the session face to face makes a lot of difference. Plus, the highlight is that you actually come to temple and take darshan of Shri Shri Radha Ras Bihari. So and there is a history of Shri Shri Radha Ras Bihari that no matter how good a speaker is, with these online classes, but if you just once take darshan of Radha Ras Bihari, all those blocks in the heart will immediately vanish, and it'll supercharge your devotional service, and you can easily practice Krishna consciousness just by taking darshan of the Lord.
Any of these Q&As will also be done online, right? In case we can't make it in person.
Yes. So we will be doing the class simultaneously, live plus online.
Okay, so there is online. Okay, because I don't think I can make it in person. I have an old mother, so I don't go out nowadays. So that's the only thing.
No worries. So yeah, if there are issues
in my case, my daughter is small and she has exams right now, so I need to manage that one.
So whosoever can come, please come. We will be doing this every weekend. So whenever you find it okay to come down, please do come down. And even if it's not possible on a Saturday, I would really recommend, please go and take darshan in the temple. There's a beautiful temple in Juhu. I'm sure every one of you all know. So please come down, and if there is anyone who needs help in facilitation of how to come down, etc., we can guide. That's not a big problem if they're staying far. And others who cannot absolutely make it, they can continue online. Not a problem.
Also, Prabhuji, I want to add, see, the COVID cases are increasing from the past 2-3 days as per the news. So we should take that into consideration and then maybe plan to meet.
Yeah, so that is definitely a consideration, and the temple itself will have